Hi folks, it's Jay from Simple Woods Life. If you're anything like me, I don't even need to do this introduction because you already know what I'm going to say. But I'm betting you're not like me, and thank God for your wives, husbands, family in general, because it's a lot. It's a lot to be this cat. Spring is here. We are, I think we're through the nights of, knocking on wood there. I think we're through the nights, but that was more punching wood. That's knocking on wood. This is a knock, and that's a punch. Knock, punch. Isn't that what Beatrix did, the bride? So we had a bunch of frost warnings last week, and we still haven't put the vegetables in the ground, which is really starting to get me freaked out because the laundry room is a jungle. On top of washers, on top of dryers, over the sink, down on the floor. My God, Dixie Dog has knocked over the tomatoes, I don't know, half dozen times. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Farmer's Almanac said don't be putting anything in the ground until the 17th or later, and sons of bitches. And so I think that's what we're looking at doing. Maybe after the long weekend, we'll look at getting that triple mix delivered and we'll plant everything. That said, my friends, springtime brings with it the happiness and joy of the summer days, of barbecues and campfires, poking the fire, getting that good cold base for breakfast, maybe a little paddle, a little swim, a little float on a floaty, and there's a drink, and I hear some like, you know, cabana music playing, and people are lounging, and they're having a grand old time, and maybe you've got a mojito, fresh mint from the garden. And, oh, you know what else you could be doing? You could be barbecuing. You could be slow smoking something on the kettle, you know, or maybe we're making some hots and hams on the old propane poly. I'll tell you something. The one thing that nobody ever frickin' remembers is how the hell any of that stuff gets ready. So, here's Dad. Hey everybody, it's Dad. Hi, welcome to Simple Woods Life. It's your dad. Yeah, Dad, aka the hubby. He's the guy that's got to get to all this stuff, and right now it's frickin' nasty, bro. It's nasty business. The pool has got a sludge going on it, I think because of that April hot spell. Thank you, I love you, No Mo May. The deers and the pollinators and the bunnies and the foxes, you're just a lovely time, and we've thoroughly enjoyed watching our little fuzzy bumble friends doing their bumble thing, but you took over my fire pit. So I got to deal with that. And then the barbecues, we're not even going to talk about how much of a nasty mess those are. So they got to get jam-packed, rock and rolled, and ready for some good old time cooking, grilling goodness. Because I'll tell you something, we use those barbecues 12 months a year, but man, we use them 7 days a week in the summertime, especially because, main reason, don't have AC at the lodge. And when she gets hot, oh, she gets hot. So today's video is all about doing the chores that nobody likes to do at all. But if you don't do them, summer's gonna suck, yo. So let's get them done. We got this pool a few years ago. It's an above ground pool. Yes, we live on a river. No, the family does not like being in the river. Something about the fish and the leeches and the general yuckiness of it. Their words, not mine. I came home one day, we had a blistering hot summer a few years back, and I came home with one of those pools from Canadian Tire and was like, that's it. And we realized we didn't have a piece of level ground on this property. We started figuring out what it would take, and then we started figuring out the lifespan on this pool from Canadian Tire. So, you know, you start bartering up, and you're like, oh, well, you know what I'm going to do is I'll spend a little bit more money and we'll get a little bit better of a pool. It'll last a little bit longer. And then all of a sudden, you're at the spot where, okay, in order to flatten this out, shovel and wheelbarrow's not going to handle it. Let's rent a skid steer. And on it goes until you're at like, okay, what if we do something, make an investment in the family and the property and the friends and neighbors that visit, and we actually get an above ground pool put in, and it's just been an absolute treasure. The scenery couldn't be prettier. Like, we are just surrounded by forest. That does pose its own problems because you get a lot of vegetation and pollen and floofs and ploofs and gloofs flying into the pool. In April, we had a real hot streak. The days went up to 30 and the pool was like, right on, let's do this thing. It's April, but let's not be, you know, there's been May 2-4s where, you know, I've plowed the driveway. So we're sort of holding off on it. But now we're at a spot where the pool has gone green. It's not a lime green color. It's not a lime green color, but it's green nonetheless, and it doesn't look lovely. We're gonna clean off that surface because it's gross, and then we're going to brush everything down to sort of stir that algae up, and then I'm gonna shock it. Your mother never loved you! As you can see, it's a very pretty view, especially when you're floating in the pool. She's gross right now. See, that's just kind of like oatmeal or something. Floofs. Just floofs. That's a pretty good first day, eh? This thing is almost blue. Well, good morning, everybody. We had ourselves a successful evening in terms of getting this pool back to pool looking kind of pool. We have successfully de-browned our pool. For curiosity's sakes, I want to check the level of chlorine since I shocked the hell out of it. You're never gonna be a dancer! We'll see what that's at. They say 24 hours before you throw the algicide in, because I guess the two of them can sort of counter off the other. I don't know, not a chemist, but that's what they say. If they say it, then who am I to say what you say you can't say? So we'll wait until tonight, and then we'll throw in the algicide. We'll let that go for 24 hours, and then we'll throw in either some Metal Zero or some clarifier, or we'll see what's what. And then at that point, we'll be able to really start testing and playing with our levels. But each day that goes on, this will get nicer and nicer. So our pH isn't awful. Our alkalinity is okay. Our chlorine is gone. What does that mean? I don't know. It means if I went to a pool store, they'd be like, oh, buy all these things. That's what you need. Your pool is going to explode if you don't put $157 worth of chemicals in it immediately and come back every other day for another $300 a day of chemicals. Your hardness is wrong. Please drain it. Have us come out there. You're going to add these 45 things, and then you're going to replace it with a chromine-bromine solution. Oh, that's funny. You gotta do reverse math. These numbers should go the other way. How are you today? How's it going? Coffee's on. Well, the pump is humming along, and the more I listen to that, let me just adjust you there. How are you? Thanks for coming out. The more I listen to that white noise, low hum, the more I can't wait to build an insulated box around it. Because these are the guys I want to hear. Here we are, day 5. Day 5 of opening the pool. Day 1 and 2 you saw. Day 3, it poured. Day 4, well, let me tell you something about day 4, everybody. Day 4 was a pretty special day. Because the Peterborough Petes took home the OHL championship. We were there to see it. Last show in the barn. Last big one in the barn. And a bunch of these boys are going up to the show. I'm not entirely sure how many people are returning next year, but like, what a friggin' season. So, off to Kamloops next week. Good luck to them there. And I'll be following on TV because I'm not making that drive. In fact, the drives we've made to Peterborough in the last little bit through this championship are more than we would drive to Peterborough in a friggin' year. Okay, so I'm done. I love you, Peterborough, but I'm now back at the lodge. I'm tucked into the woods. I got the little deer and the cozy jays, and Bosco's tooling around somewhere in the shadows, hiding, waiting. That's it. Like, we're good. We're staying here. We probably won't see Peterborough again for a very, very long time. Like I said, our home team is just, I mean, if we were a little bit in any other, area, maybe we would be cheering for Sudbury, or maybe we'd be cheering for, I don't know, friggin'. Like, we're not too bad. I don't know if you can tell. You can see the bottom. And in fact, that's how I'm noticing we've got a cluster of probably dead algae sitting in the middle. Water's still a little bit cloudy. Not too awful, and I wonder if now vacuuming up that algae at the bottom might be the key to sort of getting this going 9-0. Not much like an above ground pool to remind you that you are not a tall man. This is our barbecue deck, and it's home to a couple of chores that nobody likes doing in the spring. This barbecue deck I built a few years back. It's on a hill, and our barbecue would always sit kind of crooked and just awful. There's a flame retardant mat under each barbecue for whatever that's worth. And then the walls around it are, it's a little aesthetic, but I also wanted to make sure that there was no real heat hitting any of the wood. We barbecue 12 months a year, at least 3 times a week. Well, that's not so bad. Normally I would say suck it up, Buttercup. But this is a greasy time, so gonna call that done. That was not a deep clean. It was not a deep clean. That was more of a medium clean. The stainless steel trays and everything should be just like factory perfect. But and it didn't get a lint-free cloth for the top. But you know what? We're a hell of a lot better than we were a minute ago. A minute to you, about 4 hours to me. So, I'm gonna call it. Holy jeez, no mow May has been a success. Oop, dropped my water. We got, I don't know. We're close to 2 feet with some of these dandelions. What do you think? A couple feet? I don't know if you can tell, but this has been taken over. Taken over. So, it's gonna be a 2-step process. First year, I did this with, I thought I was a genius. I did it with a bunch of water softener salt and like leftover ice salt that I had in the garage. And just at the back here, I lost a pine tree. It was a youngling. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't huge, but still I was like, oh, I just salted the earth, didn't I? I'm like those Roman hordes. Well, the Romans weren't hordes. No, they were organized. Anyway, I'm not going to salt the earth again. But you got people who will tell you use that Scott's, whatever it is, lawn killer, weed killer. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. We're gonna whack-a-dack it out, and then we're gonna do some weed suppression. And take this from a guy who's learned it the hard way. Get your chainsaw helmet. Put that mask down. Yeah, you're gonna look stupid. But if you've got gravel flying up in your eye, you'll be like, oh, I'm glad I got a chainsaw helmet on. That's it, that's all. The chores are done. We've got a crystal clean, beautiful, pure swimming pool that I cannot wait to jump into. I can't believe I haven't yet. The fire pit is immaculate. The stones, they look a little burnt right now where the weeds were, but that'll subside with a couple of rainfalls, and we'll just keep an eye on whether or not we get any little spuds coming back up, because those weeds are nasty, and the fire, I guess, burns them at some sort of molecular level and destroys their excuse me, I've got some sort of a nasal allergy, or I'm hoping it's a nasal infection or a nasal cold, because if this is an allergy, I can't live like this until the fall, man. I have been having the toughest time breathing out of my schnozzler. And then the barbecues. I mean, that steak was delicious. Not shown, because we just devoured it, was us the following day making beautiful steak sandwiches. Miss Lady shaves that steak just thin, almost like roast beef slices. And we've got some fresh baked buns, toast them up, a little bit of cheese. We make sort of a horseradish garlic aioli. And it's just fantastic. Herb gardens looking amazing. And we've gone a flip full 360, nope, minus half, 180. We've gone from worrying about frost on these guys when we started filming this to now it's 27 degrees and we're worried about, you know, how hot it's going to be when we're outside. Miss Lady was gardening our side garden yesterday. You know, just no sun protection from trees at all out there. It's just fully open. And she's sunscreened up the whole 9 yards because SPF 50 and up. She's even got, like, sunscreen lip balm. She's got some sort of saying, I'm not going to remember it. Any kind of change in the color of your skin from the sun is sun damage. Something like that. I don't know. But write it down. Because she's not wrong. You gotta protect that skin.
Yo, you best protect your neck.
And next video, we are going to be planting our gardens. And we're going to be saying goodbye to No Mow May with probably the most satisfyingly glorious mow job. That's the most glorious lawn mow of all time. And I might say No Mow May to my face too. I grow a beard every fall. It's usually gone mid to end of April. I don't know how that pump sounds on video, but it's a white noise kind of drone that I'm not a fan of right here. So a pump enclosure and the screen porch are something else we need to do too. Remember, because of all those styrofoam cups our parents used in the 60s and 70s, none of us can stand in the sun anymore without exploding into a ball of fire. Bye everybody. I'll see you in a minute.